The iPhone 5C, iPhone SE, and iPhone XR. They are all phones that aren't part of the main iPhone lineup, with the SE getting 3 generations for some reason, but in the end, all 3 of these are lines that are gone and aren't great phones. That said, the iPhone XR is an odd one because it got iOS 18 and was not plagued with iOS 26, so it actually makes the iPhone XR an interesting phone. See, the problem with the iPhone XR is that it has 3GB of RAM, so it couldn't get iOS 26. Wait, the iPhone SE2 had 3GB of RAM and got it. Furthermore, the iPad mini 5 got iOS 26. Luckily, mine isn't, but the XR has the same processor, the Apple A12 Bionic with the same clock speed, the same 3GB of RAM, and the same 64 to 256GB of storage, with the added option of 128GB. Actually, these two that I have here are very similar, being the base 64GB, but so different with everything else that it makes you wonder why the iPad mini 4 got iOS 15 but the iPhone 6 got iOS 12 while they have the same A8 processor, though that's kind of a bad example because that's a 1GB of RAM difference. Meanwhile, the iPhone XS is on iOS 18, which has 4GB of RAM. Anyways, operation-wise is okay, very similar to the iPhone SE 2020 on iOS 26, but I will be honest, I think it's kind of a placebo effect because of the bigger screen, because the A13 has a decent spec bump compared to the A12 in the XR. But still, games are fine, showing their age, but not terrible. App interactions are good too, but you'll see some slowdowns when switching or opening up apps. As for the battery, people act like battery life is the best, but this 85% one is pretty bad. Luckily, replacement is in the middle of difficult and easy for the average person, but yeah, I was not happy with the battery on this thing. Then we do have slow 15 watts of wired charging through the Lightning port and up to 7.5 watts of wireless charging, but the latter doesn't really hit that often. This is a 2,942 milliamp battery that should charge fast at that 15 watts wired because of that 11.16 watt hour cell, but no, about an hour to an hour and a half of full charging, at least in my testing. The processor also brings some old tech. Remember, this is from 2018, so like I said, Lightning port on the bottom, though we do still get the loudspeaker that pairs with the earpiece for a stereo loudspeaker setup, and also Bluetooth 5.0, Wi-Fi 6, LTE for cellular, and NFC for tap, but NFC is not new because it's been around since the iPhone 6. Speaking of the screen, we get Bezel City on this flat but curved 6.1-inch 828p LCD display that runs at 60Hz, of course. Actually, the same pixel density as that iPhone 6 that I was talking about. There is a notch for Face ID and the cameras, but yeah, it's a bad looking LCD, but hey, pretty cheap to replace if you break it. Don't break the back though, because those are a pain to replace. I will say this is a bright screen hitting close to that advertised 625 nits, and to be fair, it's great for content, but it ain't no OLED. Going back to the metal frame, the bottom has 2 microphones actually. The left has the volume and mute switch, the right has the side button for terrible Siri, and of course the top has nothing. The front and back are tough but not glass, while the mid-frame is Series 7000 aluminum that will eventually bend and will lose its color if you try, so don't try. At 5.84 inches tall, this is kind of a tall phone, and a heavy one being 194 grams, but also being 14 grams lighter than the XS Max, and 17 grams heavier than the 0.19 inch smaller and stainless steel iPhone XS. You could say it seems like the XR has the excess weight. Get it? Okay, the last thing I want to point out is the IP67 dust and water resistance, but by now, just no. The camera system on this phone is double-edged. On one side, there's only 2 cameras, but at the same time, there's only 2 cameras. The front is a weird 7-megapixel sensor that Apple would use for a while, not focusing, can't do 4K video, and just looks 1080p 60 frames per second video out of this camera was new, but the photos to me are just mid. Usable, but not special. As for the rear camera, similar idea, but not terrible. Think Google Pixel 2 to Pixel 5 levels, where this is a 12 megapixel 1/2.55 inch sensor that does produce some nice shots as well as some decent video. The issue with the sensor is this. That's it. No zooming in, sensor cropping, ultra wide, no, just normal 26mm 12 megapixel camera that works but also is never winning any awards. I've let you be the judge, so hopefully this was enough photos and videos for you to see that. By the way, 4K 60 frames per second is good enough, nothing too crazy, but I can't complain too much as some of my videos in the past were actually filmed on an iPhone XR. So I already alluded to it, but being on iOS 18 is actually a godsend for this phone. It's not handling it the best, but I have seen iPhone 11s on iOS 26, and I'm glad this doesn't have that. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, the iPhone 10 is 1 year prior to this and runs iOS 16, and how does that phone feel to you? Well, in 1 to 3 years, you'll feel the same way about owning the iPhone XR. That said, I would be lying to you if I said that the iPhone SE 2020 was much better than this phone, which in turn explains that this phone really isn't meant for iOS 18, which kind of makes sense because most people thought that this was going to be stuck on iOS 17, and that's it. I do have to ask though, who is this for? As always, if you're currently using this phone, I'm not trying to offend you or make you feel bad for owning a phone that you have because you probably got it a while ago. Instead, I want to inform the person that's going to spend $100 USD or more on this phone because it just shows its age. This phone's from 2018 after all. The battery needs to be replaced if it hasn't been done yet, but even more, the design is just bad. It's a big, bulky phone that, sure, the 6.2-inch screen is good to have, but the iPhone 12 fixed the problem with this phone 2 years later, making the phone 30 grams lighter and physically smaller in every dimension, losing 127 milliamps or 0.36 watt-hours of battery capacity, but also gaining $100 in price. But truly, why have this phone? It is pretty old. There is a newer version in this style called the iPhone 11 and even has a sad sequel, the iPhone 16e. No joke, this phone carries so many similarities to that phone that it's surprising that anyone thought that the SE was going to be replaced with the 16e. No, the XR was just being resurrected. I will be honest and give people that think I'm an Apple fanboy a heart attack and say that this phone does not impress me, but I think that's okay. It's still usable today, but I doubt people are going to continue buying this phone a year or two from now. At the end of the day, I'm here to tell you what's worth buying and not, and clearly this ain't it. It's okay to own, but don't buy this phone unless you really need just like a flip phone that has better internet browsing experience and obviously doesn't flip. What I'm saying is using this as a basic phone is fine. Having a low quality camera that matches the iPhone 11 is okay and sometimes better if you want the point and shoot experience. No need to switch cameras or zoom because you can't. A less stressful experience. Same with the screen. If you break it, well, it's around $20 for you to fix it yourself, so just fix it. Repair parts are cheap on this phone, you just need to know how to fix it. That said, this does apply to the iPhone 11, and while not great, that phone is better than this. Come on guys, I'm trying to be nice about this phone, but like I've said, I'm not impressed. And that's my review of the iPhone XR, the weird, cheap, but not iPhone. Remember, this was a $750 phone, which was more than the $700 iPhone 11 and $600 iPhone 16e. But what do you think? Is this phone still viable in 2026? Let me know, and as always, thanks for watching.